something I'm proud of is whenever I have a thought that is that I feel the contributors might take offence to, I just calmly have the conversation and say it to them.
You've produced the series as well, haven't you, Stacey? I think I saw in the credits.
So I assist, yeah. I'm more of an AP, so
Yeah,
I
fair enough. Yeah.
kind of help with the editor. I suppose you know what it's like. Again, you'll know as much as me. Over the years, you sort of understand what works editorially, and as much as you can be involved in, you know, the conversations about the recce's and stuff. It just means you're more across it when you get there. But I love that side of it as well. I think it's brilliant actually. You start to realize that all the hard work is done off camera, behind
Oh
camera,
yeah.
and you just sort of turn up and present
Breeze in. Yeah.
and then leave them to it, and they're in the edit for 6 weeks going, ah. So yeah, learning all the time.
Do you stay in touch with any of the people, or
Yeah,
have you?
yeah, sometimes. So another brilliant family in this series, looking at child modelling, which again, you know, some people are thinking, well, brilliant, you know, good for them to be earning money from a young age, and if it's something they're passionate about, why not? Other people think, oh God, you know, are we sort of robbing them of their childhood, etc.? Is it pushy parents sort of living vicariously through their kids? But I really took to the mum. I just thought she was magic, and yeah, we often sort of message on Insta or whatever. Yeah.
Um, Alice, what do you hope that people will take away from this series? It's a six-part series, isn't it?
Yeah. Um, well, I hope that they'll sort of go in perhaps thinking one thing about the families and come away thinking something different. I know that's what the sort of experience that I have often from the weekends. Is I go in thinking I'm not going to like these people, and come away thinking I can see. You know, as a parent or having been a child, and you know, there's a lot of discussion about parenting and bringing up families. Those are
Mm.
sort of and you know, the dynamics of domestic relationships. Those are all the kind of things that you spend the weekend looking at and thinking about. So
Mm.
Well, from what Stacey's saying, you come away always thinking that, yeah, you want to adopt that lifestyle. Yeah.
It's totally
when
true.
we had to film the Jewish family, they were getting up. The kids are getting up really early to go to, you know, to go to school, and doing lots of studying. And I kind of came back and I kept saying this to my own kids. I was like, you know, you could take a lot from this family that I went to this weekend with.
Is there, because it's quite a different style for you, isn't it, Stacey? In that, you know, you'll normally do more kind of, I guess, sort of harder investigative
Yeah.
stuff. And how much have you had to think about sort of conducting yourself slightly differently? Because this feels like actually more like just you
Mm. Yeah.
without your sort of documentary head on so much.
Yeah, yeah, you're totally right. It's certainly lighter in tone. Um, I think interestingly, when you're doing, you know, when you're looking at a situation like what's happening in the northeast of Nigeria, and you're looking at Boko Haram, for example,
Mm.
or you know, you're looking at the so-called caliphate or IS, or something so clearly abhorrent, something so clearly wrong, then actually it's relatively straightforward. I
Mm.
think it's much more kind of ambiguous. You know, it's much more. It requires more kind of. What's the word I'm looking for? It's just trickier to make something when it's less black and white and there's more grey.
It's
Um,
more nuanced, isn't it? Basically, it's not
definitely.
just these are the bad guys.
Yeah. And I think so it's a bit you're sort of floating between, oh, I think this or do I think that? And I really enjoy that. And you know, there have been a couple of times where I've thought one thing and then I thought actually probably I was a bit judgmental there, or you know, I had preconceived ideas. Again, the eco warriors, that's a really good example. I went there and I thought, well, they're very middle class. They own an island in Scotland. They also have a base in London. The girls are privately educated. So I went there thinking, well, you know, you can sort of afford to sit in a camp for months and months and months when you haven't got to worry about money or the rent,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
you know, if you get arrested and you're a white privately educated kid, there may not be the same repercussions. as there would be for other children from estates or whatever. So actually, you know, you spend the weekend with them and they're trying to save the world. So it's pretty tricky to argue with that.
Yeah. Is there anyone that really changed your mind about stuff, Alice?
I mean, the sort of level of discipline that I think I just mentioned that the Jewish family had, I found that very admirable in the whole, with the whole family, really.
Did your kids take that on board or not really?
No. I mean,
No,
no.
of course not. Yeah.
Actually, the eco warriors, the fact that they were all, you know, really putting themselves out there, I did actually find that you could question what they're doing, but you know, I think I had a lot of admiration for what they were doing.
Alice has got a little lad. He's so beautiful, and his favourite pastime is he does impressions of me. So actually, don't worry, he isn't wasting his time. It's really, really funny. He says, "Hello, I'm Stacey," and he says, "So can I have a cup of tea?" They're brilliant. Find them. I'll send it to you.
Is there anything from this series that you'll take away, Stacey, in terms of informing your filmmaking process in the future?
Something that I think we do well. We're so far from perfect, obviously, and I'm always evolving, whatever. But something I'm proud of is whenever I have a thought that is that I feel the contributors might take offence to, I just calmly have the conversation and say it to them. I always say to Alice, I don't want to do a piece to camera that I haven't said to them. Or if we do a piece to camera and it feels like we're being accusatory, or, you know, it feels like we're condemning something, we then have to have that conversation with them. And I really love that about this series. And yeah, I think that's something I definitely want to continue doing.
Yeah, it's kind of nice. You do occasional pieces to camera, but it's all quite feels like you're just in the moment, and it's quite sort of actuality. Is that something you build in the edit, Alice, or is that just what's happening?
That's what's happening. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't really like pieces to camera for the sake of it. And again, I feel like I'm saying this to you, Rick, and you obviously know all this because you're a brilliant presenter. But I don't like the pieces to camera where you go, I'm about to say this or I'm about to ask them that, and then you see that conversation, and then afterwards you say, I've just heard that. It's like not everything needs to be bookended. People aren't daft. People aren't stupid. Like
it's a waste of time.
It's just lazy.
Yeah.
So I feel like we try and do pieces to camera when I'm really moved or I've learned something or I'm reacting to something that's just been said.